Hi everyone. I've been watching a lot of videos about all kinds of travelers, notebook and all kinds of binders, and I'm quite fascinated with one of those things, and it's this mini, I don't know, journal, booklet, whatever you want to call it, and I want to share with you how I'm making this. And the main point here is I want to show you how to make this cover. The actual pages inside are less interesting because you can choose whatever you want for this. I'll tell you what kind of all the options you can make for it, but I want to show you how to make this faux leather. I hope I'm pronouncing it well. I don't understand why do you need the X at the end of faux, well, whatever. So basically what I'm using today is this kind of paper bags. They are very cheap. I bought them at what we have here, that is like a dollar store, and I love using this stuff, not only because it's cheap, but because it translates to really good paper for the inside of those kind of binders. I'm already done things like that with this kind of paper bags, and it's very cheap, and I find it in the party section in those kind of shops. And also I love to use this kind of paper bags. I don't know why, but I love the brown paper, so you've got a lot of options with this. And if you don't have paper bags, or it's not cheap for you to use whatever you have. Like here, I hope you can see, this is a page from a mini book, just an old book that I took a page and gessoed it and then stamped, and it's kind of in here is another example. So I'm going to start with my paper bags, and with this technique you can put how many pages you want. And I usually take out this section where it's open because I want it straight. If you don't want to trim it, you can either fold it like this and glue it down, or just leave it like that if you want it open, and then your page, you will have, in your page you have a pocket, so whatever you want to do. So I'm just making them straight, and I'm going to cut this section. Okay, so now these are the pages, and I'm going to fold them in half like this. And basically what I'm going to do is glue them to each other. Now if you are using a paper bag like this ones from the brown paper, sometimes the side that is closed is very thick. You can trim also here, and then you will have both ends open, or you can just leave it like that. I'm leaving mine here, the side that is closed, like this. I'm not trimming it, it doesn't bother me, and I think that's when each page is glued to the other one, it just gives it more, it's more sturdy. So I'm going to show you one page how I'm gluing. This is silicone glue. It's a local brand, so the only thing I can tell you, it's like Yoo-hoo glue that comes in tubes. So here it is, just a lining on one side. I'm not concerned of it being exact on the millimeter. It doesn't, I don't care. But when you finish gluing all these pages to one another, if for you it's really, if it bothers you that it's not the exact size, you can then, when they are all lying on top of each other and glued down, you can then trim it, so they will be the exact. But so now I'm going to glue the other pages, and then I'll come back. Okay, I'm back, and I've got here a nice chunk of pages for my mini journal. And just so you will know enough variations to this, you can do two things to add to your pages. One of them is making them look more antique or tattered. I don't know how to describe it. First of all, you can take this is for nails, a nail file, I think, and you can go gently over the sides of the paper and make it a little bit jagged. And another thing you can do is take a brown acrylic paint, dilute it with water, and while holding this tight, dip it in the paint, and then it will stain the pages on the outside. I think I've done it here. Let me see if you can see how it looks. Each page has like a stain on the outside, like border. So this is one of the options, and another one is holding it also tight. You can take bulldog clips, I think it's called, and also on the outside, while it's pressed down, take gold acrylic paint and go over the pages like with the antique books that the sides are in gold. Or you can leave it like this. So this is our inside, and I'm leaving them for now here. The cover I'm making from craft foam, fun foam. They come in lots of colors, and I'm using whatever I have at hand. Usually, if it's I will paint it with first with acrylic white acrylic paint or antique white acrylic paint, because I don't want for this example that the green will show through. Because after this I'm going to take a tissue paper that I stamped, and it will be the cover. I'm always taking tissue paper and picking up several stamps and making some kind of design all over the paper, and then I have this for other projects. Always I have several to work with, like these ones. So this is the tissue paper. So I'm going to show you how I'm doing. So basically I will take the pages. I am always leaving a little bit on the outside, like 2 millimeters. And where is, again, I'm not for measuring, I'm doing it by eye. I'm eyeballing it, I don't know. So just the only thing that I do is making sure that it's straight. Here is my cover, the base for the cover, which is going to go like this. So now I'm going to give it a coat of paint. This is Deco Art Antique White. I need another one. Wait. And just giving it a coat from both sides. First the one side, I'm waiting, I will wait for it to dry, and then I'll do the other side. It doesn't have to be anything special, just so the green won't show. Too much paint. Okay, so I'm going to give it time to dry. I will flip it, do the other side, and then we'll continue. I'm back. So this is dry, and I haven't done the other side because I think I'm going to paint this to look like faux leather with brown colors, so I'm not trying. I don't really need to do this, but this is essential for the outside of the cover. So I've took a piece of my tissue paper, and I've taken a little bit more. Now there is a lot of videos about how to make faux leather, and this is how I'm making it after a lot of tries and experiments, and it works for me. As you can see, I've taken the tissue paper and crunched it, and because I want very little wrinkles to my leather. Of course, you don't have to. If you want it smooth, you can leave it smooth, or if you want big wrinkles, when just put more glue and play with the wrinkles, so you will have bigger ones. So basically white glue, and it's a little bit diluted. It's about like quarter water to 3/4 white glue. I don't really measure, I just add water, and I wait to see that the that's it, I've lost it, that it's fine for my work. Let's leave it at that. So here is the glue all over. Putting my tissue paper, and now I'm going with the glue, just work from the inside outside. I want wrinkles, I don't want air bubbles, and be gentle with it. You don't want it to tear, especially if your glue is very wet. So here it is, smoothing everything towards the outside. Now after it dries, I'm going to paint this to look like leather. So there are a few ways to do this. One way is to use acrylic paints, and you just play with if you have, this is the cheapest kind there is, I think, and it's deco art, and it's burnt umber and burnt sienna. You take a sponge and you start to play with the two colors until you have the color you like. Another option is wood stain. I have here dark walnut. This is also something I picked up in the cheap store. It's like $50, and it will probably stay with me for life, because you only need really a small amount of it to do something. And the great thing about it, it's water-based and it doesn't stink, and with the sponge again you can build your layers until you like the color that you have. And so I'm moving it aside. I'm not going to wait for it to dry. Here is another one, and here I haven't put a white coat of paint because the craft foam was already brown, but I do want to work on it so it will look like faux leather. So, and the other thing I use for making it look like faux leather is this acrylic inks, which I don't remember what brand it is. I only remember that it's a British company, and I've got here sepia. This is my favorite color in browns, and I just can't find it in deco art sepia, only the burnt umber and the burnt sienna. And because there's a lot of colors that for leather, I'm going to try, this is the first time I'm going to try to add a little from this red. I think it's scarlet, but my eyes may be deceiving me. It's so small, I don't know if I'm reading it correctly. So basically the same thing with the sponge. And I want a makeup sponge, which I can't find right now. Where is it? Okay. When I'm working with the acrylics or with the wood stain, I'm using like a bath sponge. And when I'm using the acrylic inks, I'm using this makeup sponge. Always start in small doses, because you can't take it out if it's not if it's too dark. And I'm starting just to spread it around. You can probably hear my kids in the background, and they have also friends came, so their friends, so there'll probably be some noise in the background. They are 13 and the voices changed, and it seems that they forgot to use their inner voice. So this is it. So let's see. I hope I'm not making a mistake with adding the red color, but whatever. I'm all for trying. I think I'm liking where it's going, and I will add more of the sepia color after I will finish putting an even coat of this red. So I'll stop for now, and I'll come back after I'll finish with the red and another coat of the sepia. And I'm back. I hope you can see what I've done here, and it probably doesn't look to you quite like leather yet, but here is the finishing touch. You take and water-based varnish and go over this. If you don't have it, and this is also something I've picked up at the cheap store, if you don't have it, just go with another coat of glue and you will see how it makes it look like leather. So basically just going over everything with a coat of the water-based varnish. It's not dry, but I hope you can see how it looks. When it will dry, I'll let you see how it looks. So I'm going over all this and I'll come back. Okay, I'm back and this is how it looks after the coat of varnish, and I'm going to flip it over and do the inside because I want it to look also good on the inside. And here I'm going to use, just so you will see, the acrylics, the burnt umber and burnt sienna, and maybe I will add a sepia that I have from acrylic paint from a local, and again some local brand. So basically I'm just taking the sponge and I'm starting to play with the paint until I'm satisfied with the color I'm getting. So basically this is it, and again when it will be dry I will give it a coat of the water-based varnish. Here we go. Quite a nice result for only acrylic paint. I hope you can see it. So I'm going to let it dry again. I'll come back. Okay, so I'm back and this is the inside, this is the outside. I like to trim the corners. If you don't have a corner trimmer, just take any cap, like from a felt pen, and put it on the corner and just cut where it is. And if you used a craft foam that is not brown, you would would be good to go all over the edges with an ink pad, or with the acrylic paint, the brown acrylic paint, or even if you've got a brown permanent pen, you can go all over the edges. Especially now that I've trimmed the corners, I don't want any variations in the color. Okay, so here is the cover, and I'm going to put my pages inside. Again, the silicone glue. I'm placing it in about like 2 millimeters from the edges. That's how I like it. You don't have to. And most of the time I will put here a hole and have dangling charms, just because I like it. it doesn't have any purpose. It's just for decorative reasons. And another hole here, and I'm going to put some kind of ribbon. So, and of course we need to glue this here. And it's good that I've looked now because I've glued everything backwards. Okay, here it is. Here is my pages, and I want to make a hole here. I'll be back. I'll wait for it to dry on this side, and then I'll come back with the next step. I'm back. So I've made here a hole and put just one charm this time, and another hole here, and I'm going to glue this side to the cover. Of course, now on the inside you can decorate however you want. In the other ones that I've made, I've used leftover scrapbook paper to make little pockets and little tags, like where is it here? Just a little pocket and a little tag. You can do whatever you want. You can stamp the pages and just use your imagination. And here we go, we have the cover, and I'm going to pick some kind of ribbon to tie it. I'm thinking maybe this, or I want something more to go with the color. Maybe something, yeah. No, it's not long enough. Well, for now I will use this one. A nice, just going here through the hole. And before I'm closing it, I'm checking to see how much I need to go around it, and with excess, because I want to tie it. And now okay, so here we go. The longer one is going around the cover, and when it comes here, I'm just going to tie it like this. And if you've got one that is too much, longer, then you can trim it, or just play with the length of the two sides, and that's it. That's our little booklet journal, mini, micro, whatever that I'm fascinated with making. So that's it for now, and bye.